For this session, if you have any questions relating to what was covered or things which have not been covered, you are free to ask the panel members. You can direct it to any one of the panel members, or if you want to hear maybe different viewpoints, you can direct to everyone except me. Okay, first of all, let me just pose the first questions because I don't see any hands coming up. I was actually quite encouraged by the fact, Ms. Ju, the Korean government has a cloud first policy, all right, which is actually not that common around this region. I know the US and certain parts of Europe, Australia are moving to that direction. So I would like to ask Ms. Ju as well as our other speakers, how did the idea of cloud first policy, what is behind, what is behind the cloud first policy? And whether there are any major challenges in implementing a cloud-first policy. Okay? Maybe we'll let you answer first, yeah. We don't have a cloud-first policy. Okay.
먼저 한국에서 클라우드를 적용하게 된 것은 그 전에 이미 정부 기관의 컴퓨터 리소스가 한 곳에 통합이 되어 있어서 조금 더 쉽게 저희가 클라우드 퍼스트 정책을 리딩할 수 있었습니다. 초반에는 저희가 클라우드 퍼스트 정책을 어나운스 했을 때 기관들은 이제 클라우드에 대한 좀 신뢰 아니면 좀 인지를 잘 못하는 부분이 있어서 조금 저항도 없지 않아 있었는데 이미 저희 센터가 정보 자원을 그렇게 통합해서 운영하는 그 노하우와 그런 것들을 이미 체험을 했기 때문에 클라우드로 조금 더 저희가 쉽게 설득을 할 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
I think one of the advantage that we experience with the cloud first is because we, Korea, had a government integrated data center in advance. So in a very initial stage, people don't really trust us, like how would it go? But since it's been 10 years that we had government data centers, so that's the period of time that people can trust us, and all those experiences and knowledge has been accumulated for the past 10 years. So that would be one of the advantages that we experience from the integrated government data center.
In Thailand, we don't really call it a cloud first policy, but what we do is we all the government agency, when they ask to buy software and hardware, the budget bureau asks them to consult with us first each year. They have to talk to us first whether their demands meet. Let's say if we can supply them with all the cloud or applications, we consolidate for them already. If we don't meet their requirement, they can ask for money to buy. But if we do meet their requirement, they have to use our G Cloud or our services. So we don't call it as a policy, but we do it. So.
Okay, Nick.
Okay, in Singapore itself, we don't have a cloud-first policy as well. I think, like I mentioned in the slides, what we're trying to actually, what we're actually trying to do is to make the market a bit more vibrant. We're trying to bring out more providers, and in appropriate time, we'll actually consider whether that's something that we actually want to put in place. But for now, no, we don't have a cloud-first policy.
All right, so it's Korea that's leading the way today. Any questions from the floor? Anyone?
Hi. Obviously, going cloud for kind of non-sensitive data services is a great step forward, especially from resiliency and the details you mentioned earlier. But what steps do you feel need to take place to enable more like financial services or more sensitive data to be able to be hosted on the cloud from a government perspective?
You're talking about generally for
for adoption of
more sensitive data.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Do you want to take that first? Yeah.
As a good question, first of all, yes, majority of our services most likely will be non-sensitive data, but we also carving out the sensitive data as well. We're not probably specialized in budgeting bureau or a DoD, but we have a storage or a cloud spaces for them if they needed it. Majority of them are having their own cloud on premise since they are very sensitive data. But nonetheless, we also provide them if they needed it for recrafting for those as well.
I think in Singapore's context itself, for Singapore's context itself, we have we have adopted both the public cloud as well as our private cloud as well. So, and we've just basically started in terms of doing the interfacing between the two for data transfer between the two and so on. So we're always looking, and I think in terms of the public cloud providers, they are also evolving in terms of their security posture and so on. So that's something that we're looking at, but at this point in time, not quite yet. I think one of the things that we need to see a little bit more of is also transparency in terms of the public cloud. A lot of those things in the public cloud today, for the government's level of security that's required, is actually a black box. So those are some of the things that we need to probably work through or might evolve over time.
한국 같은 경우에는 일단 저희는 프라이빗 클라우드입니다. 이제 퍼블릭 클라우드를 쓰지 않고 정부 전용의 이제 프라이빗 클라우드를 구축을 해서 정부가 운영을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 이제 그런 프라이빗 클라우드를 구축해서 운영함에 있어서도 저희가 이제 그러니까 정부 업무를 크게 이제 4가지 카테고리로 분류를 하고 있습니다. 그 중에 그 센서티브와 데이터 그 가용성 이런 측면들을 고려해서 4가지 레벨로 구분을 하는데, 하이 레벨의 등급보다는 로어 레벨의 그런 웹사이트라든지 이제 그런 레벨의 업무를 먼저 클라우드로 시작을 했고요. 지속적으로 이제 클라우드 기술이나 서비스의 안정성이 검증된 이후에 지속적으로 이제 하이어 레벨의 업무까지도 클라우드를 적용을 할 계획에 있습니다.
In Korean case, we don't operate the public cloud. It's actually the private cloud exclusively for the government. So we classify the government data as 4 different categories according to those sensitivities and data availability. So we start from the low level of sensitive data, and then gradually move on to the higher level of sensitivity. And we conduct also the ISP. Yes. So as a result, we draw results that not 100% of data will be more suitable for the cloud. So in our government strategy is try to convert 60% of our total e-government service, as she explained in her presentation, until 2017 by introducing 50% of open source software, and that way we could reduce down to 40% of our operating budget. That's our 6-5-4 strategy.
Thank you. Any other questions? Let me ask one. We've heard from everyone, you know, the adoption of cloud by government agencies and migrating to the cloud. So, did you use a stick or a carrot approach, you know, to have the agencies, those who are, you know, currently, you know, owning their own data center or running their own system? What has been the approach of the government in encouraging, you know, agencies, government ministries to move to the cloud?
For Thailand, when we started in 2012, we actually volunteer. We asked for the volunteer for the government agency in 2012 because back then it was really early age of the cloud computing system. So there were actually 15 agencies that in volunteer program with us, and then it increased rapidly from 15 to 30, 30 to 90. It's like double and triple. And people start seeing the benefit, and the government see that it reducing costs and other benefit that you heard today all day. And just now people just getting realized and now just become their first thing, think of using G-Cloud now, not it's automatically they will ask for G-Cloud when they do anything. So I think it's showing to them that it works and it's really been beneficial not just only for the government agency but to their services to the citizen as well.
So there's a great change in attitude towards moving
Correct.
to the cloud.
It was hard in the first, but then people start seeing it's the real thing. They can see the benefit. So
That's good.
I think when we launched cloud around 2012 as well, one of the things that we did is we did a lot of end user education, a lot of road shows, and I think that was very important. We started off doing it actually in terms of quarterly, then we even went down to monthly, so that basically the awareness of agencies in terms of how they could use the cloud, how would they onboard the cloud, what would be different to them. These things were very, very then becomes apparent to them. I think in terms of engagement, we didn't only engage the agencies, but we also engage industry, because a lot of systems are developed for government agencies by industry players. So basically there was a fair amount of engagement done at the industry level as well in terms of what is G-Cloud, how do you build systems on top of G-Cloud and so on. So all of these things actually helped. Towards the end of 2014, there was actually where we have a legacy environment where there's a lot of agencies hosting, so that came to a natural end of life. So because of this awareness that had actually gone out, so a lot of the agencies actually migrated to G-Cloud during that point of time as well. So that's where a lot of the G-Cloud, today the G-Cloud customers have actually come from. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, that's how we did it.
한국에서는 클라우드 도입이 정부기관 시스템의 노후된 시스템을 교체하는 시점에서 이제 클라우드로 적용을 하게 됩니다. 근데 이제 노후 시스템을 교체하는 예산이 기관마다 아주 부족하기 때문에 클라우드로의 전환은 선택이 아니라 클라우드로밖에 할 수 없는 그런 거고요. 특별히 클라우드로 전환하기 어려운 시스템들, 고가용성이 요구된다든지 특정 하드웨어의 종속적이라든지 소프트웨어 종속적인 그런 시스템들을 제외하고는 우선적으로 클라우드를 먼저 적용을 하고 있고요. 대신에 어떤 기술적인 클라우드라든지 공개 소프트웨어에 대한 기술 지원, 그리고 이제 안정적인 운영을 위한 뭐 이중화 구성이라든지 이런 부분들을 저희 센터가 지원을 하고 있습니다.
Actually, the introduction periods of a cloud in Korean government is pretty much similar. In those periods, we need to change the old devices, so they are finished their lifespan. So and plus, there's a pretty much lack of those budget allocated for changing those old device. So actually, in Korean case, the cloud, the conversion is not an option anymore. It could be the must. So especially for those services which is dependent on the specific hardware or software, or which needs a high availability, except those services, we encourage more of those services to be converted into cloud-based. And also we support the open source, the technical support. We directly operate the support center. And also we support those the backup configurations, and those are the technical services that we support.
So in Korea, I guess, is a more directive approach. Yeah? You have the muscle to enforce this. Okay, we have 5 more minutes before we have to quit. Any questions? Yes, there's a hand there.
So after convincing the government to migrate into the cloud, how do you convince them that their information should be integrated together?
The information is?
Should be integrated, like should be consolidated.
Oh. It says once it's migrated to the cloud, how do you convince them that the information is still integrated?
It's a good question, actually. To ask them to use G-Cloud is probably the easiest way, but having them trusting us to put their data into our G-Cloud is the toughest one. I think that's the toughest job that we ever have done, because they might just want G-Cloud to do something like web hosting or something that just basically easily. But putting their data, that means they have to trust us, because they have to make sure that our system can host their data and without leaking their data, or there's some security parameter that we consider for them. So those, like I said, we have to be able to build the trust. We want to make sure that we never have any incident that's showing to them that their data will be safely with us. So since 2012 until now, we haven't had any incident in our G-Cloud to actually, so basically they trust us that they can put their data with us and they can use it, and also they can share it, so become a consolidation or integrating with other agency. Because some of the database that one agency use maybe be used or can be used with another agencies. And those are the things actually we the government agency or the central government agency like this, we want that to happen, integrated. Not just using G-Cloud for their own agency, but we want to, like you said, consolidate it and be able to use those data with other agencies. So that's a good question.
I think in Singapore itself, basically, we have, in those agency briefings that I mentioned earlier on, we've actually been very transparent to the agencies in terms of actually informing them what's the security model, for example, in G-Cloud. What are their security responsibilities and what are the responsibilities of the service provider? In there itself, that's where agencies actually then make a choice. G-Cloud is a choice for them. It's not compulsory. That's why it's not cloud first, per se. It's a choice. They come in with basically after assessing, there's G-Cloud, whether it's hosting model, security model, data protection model, I think that you touched on, does that actually suit their needs? So is it fit for their purpose? If it's fit for their purpose, then they actually opt to host their systems on G-Cloud.
That's interesting because most people think of Singapore as, a lot more directive. You must. Yeah.
2005년에 저희 통합센터가 처음 만들어졌을 때, 그 당시 이제 각 그 정부 기관들이 개별적으로 데이터 센터 혹은 전산실을 유지를 했었습니다. 처음에 이런 센터가 만들어진다고 했을 때 기관들의 저항이 엄청나게 컸음에도 불구하고 정부가 강력하게 그 부분은 그동안의 그런 자원의 비효율성이라든지 예산의 비효율성, 특히나 이제 보안적인 측면에서 통합 운영이 필요하다라는 결정을 내리고 강력하게 리딩을 한 결과 한 10년 정도 데이터 센터를 운영을 하게 되었고요. 데이터 센터를 운영하면서 기존에는 코-로케이션부터 시작하고 단계적으로 IT 컨솔리데이션 이런 과정을 점차적으로 좀 진행을 하게 되었습니다.
Actually, as a government data center, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. It has been 10 years since 2005. And before 2005, all those information systems of government service has been managed by each individual ministry, or there are each individual computer rooms. And of course, as you can imagine, there are pretty much amount of resistance happens. Like people quarrel each other. They don't like the idea of integration because they thought that's just they are deprived their own resources and own budget and own people, own technology. But in the Korean case, the government, actually the president that time, were really committed. He has strong leadership, so he's really committed for this project to be launched in his own term, because they can see, even though they keep insisting they want to keep their own, but still they can see the inefficiency of resource usage and also the budget, the waste. So, and especially the security area, the information security area was almost none of security system for the data, the backend data. So people doesn't really have enough logic to insist their own. So in our case, we could say the strong leadership of government, and starting from the co-location and consolidation of hardware and moving forward and step by step. So in our case, the strong leadership from the government and the leadership.
Thank you. Early on, I think we lost about 10 minutes because of the late finish. Maybe we could have just one more question. If I may ask the next session chairman, Robert, can we have another 5 minutes? Thank you. 10 minutes. I don't think we can last 10 minutes. Any more questions?
Good afternoon. We heard a lot about cloud and everyone migrating to the cloud, but can we hear some instances of there could be some challenges while migrating to the cloud in terms of business continuity planning when you're migrating from the existing system to the cloud? So how was that taken care of in each of the cases for Singapore, Thailand and Korea?
Sorry, we didn't quite hear that question. Can you speak a bit slower? Yeah.
The question is regarding migration of the cloud to the cloud from the existing in-house systems or the legacy systems.
Mm-hmm.
So what were the challenges that each of the countries faced while migrating to the cloud, especially in terms of business continuity planning? Because when you're migrating from one system to the other, there is a possibility there could be some sort of discontinuation, in the business. So how was that managed?
So really the challenges of migrating from existing non-cloud to cloud-based, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot.
Oh, okay. The challenges, I don't think is a technical stuff. I think technical is easily, it's not easily done, but it actually a step, But the only thing that I see when we started it was the challenges is the understanding. And most of the people don't understand really what is cloud services or how they gonna utilize the services from us. So for us, it's very difficult to really promoting the G-Cloud to all the government agency. So those are the biggest one, not the technical stuff, but they have to understand first. Once they understand, they can buy it, then they will come, you know. So that's the one key for us.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that we actually had is the practices that people actually have when they come in, right? So when the practices that they actually have building systems in the physical world and when they try and build it in the cloud, especially like you talked about BCP in terms of resiliency. One example, a lot of people do clustering in a certain manner in the physical world. You put a physical NIC and so on. But then when they try and bring the same model into the cloud, it doesn't quite work. It's not supposed to work that way. So some of these things are about awareness, but it's about practices also. How do you redesign or redevelop or adjust your system such that it's more optimal in cloud versus from the physical world and not just shift and lift it? Yeah.
있던 시스템들이 대부분 고가용성 유닉스 또 외산 고가의 소프트웨어들을 사용을 하고 있었습니다. 그러다 보니까 운영비가 아주 많이 드는 이제 구조였죠. 예. 그러다 보니까 저희는 이제 그런 운영 비용을 절감하기 위해서 이제 클라우드를 도입한 목적도 있었고요. 그런 이제 기존에 쓰던 그런 DBMS나 유닉스 머신 이런 것 대신에 X86 서버 그리고 공개 소프트웨어 DBMS로 전환하는 데 있어서 기관들이 아주 초기에는 아주 많이 불안해했었습니다. 그래서 왜 클라우드로 해야 되는지에 대해서 좀 저항도 없지 않아 있었는데 일단 저희 센터는 아까도 설명드렸지만은 아주 1단계는 로우 레벨의 업무부터 클라우드를 접목을 시켰습니다. 그런 것들을 이제 기관들이 체감하면서 클라우드로 전환해도 기존 시스템과 크게 다를 바가 없구나라는 것들을 인지하면서부터는 점차 조금 더 적극적으로 클라우드 전환에 임해 주셨던 것 같습니다.
Actually, the legacy system that our clients used before cloud was mostly like Unix system or the expensive ones. So one of the key concerns that we had in our mind is to reduce down those OPEX. So a saving budget is one of the most important, and the government had to consider. So those DBMS and Unix machine, which cost a lot. But in the very initial stage, of course, people were not really trust us, and they got a bit nervous about our service availability or capability. But as time goes by, they can see what we can provide us, and that we are not trying or forcing them in one at once. Okay, you should do this. We start from the pilot project, consists of like less than 5 ministry, and so that we can show them, okay, this is what we can do, and this is what you can prepare in advance. Also, we provide them as provide the guidelines as a booklet, so that people can understand in more comprehensive way, so that they can teach their own IT staff in the organization, so that they a bit less worry about all those new introduction, new technology.
Okay, I see that our extra quota is dried up, so unfortunately we have to close this session and let the next panel take over. So can you join me in thanking our speakers?